G'day, this is Noel McInnes and welcome to the inaugural episode of Mindset for Success. I'm very honoured to have Mr. Andrew Morello here today, the Head of Business Development at YBR, Yellow Brick Road, co-founder of online jewellery store Bellagio, founding member of the Entourage, and
an all-round good guy.
All-round good bloke. The very handsome, very classy Andrew Morello.
I was just saying that I beard-bummed my beard for Noel this morning, so I went out of the way for you, buddy.
Cool. So Entourage, I'm actually a member of the Entourage. It's an entrepreneurial academy, and I want to know first off what sort of drove you to become part of that.
Well, look, I think that's part of a big story. I think the big story is that I was very blessed to grow up in small business, being pumping petrol at my dad's service station as a 8, 9, 10-year-old in Moonee Ponds. For those of you who are from another state, that's in Victoria. And what happened was that entrepreneurial instinct was in me at a very young age. And then if you look at everything I've done in my life, whether it was starting my first business at 14, whether it was not going to university, not that you shouldn't go to university if that's, it wasn't what I needed, whether it was my real estate career, whatever it was all fundamentally underpinned by that entrepreneurialism that I was exposed to as a young age with my dad's service stations. And then Jack and I, Jack Delosa, the founder of the Entourage, and I met when he was at a crossroads in his life and vice versa, and I just won the Apprentice. And a mutual friend had actually introduced us and said, Jack, you should meet Morello, Morello, you should meet Jack, because if you guys meet, it'll be like the atoms colliding. So, and it was like that. So, Jack was the visionary behind the Entourage as a whole, and I worked with him in founding the Scalable and Saleable program, which you're a part of. Something we're very proud of. It's our core product and a core service and a core community builder. And now, of course, it's much bigger than Jack and I, and it's going global, and we have an online deployment being delivered now. So, and it feeds well and complements everything else I do. I've got interest in real estate, interest in financial services, and interest in business education.
Cool. So actually my old man was a service station owner as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Would you pump a petrol as well?
Yeah, clean a few windscreens.
Even when you were younger?
No, probably I was 14, I suppose, when I first started doing a bit of work.
Oh, right. Yeah, but does he still own service stations?
He sold up probably 8, 9 years ago.
Yeah, there's no money there. It's hard work now.
Yeah.
What was it?
It was called the Yowza Bowser. It was like, he had two, this is in southwest of WA.
Yeah.
And he used to have like a little joke board out the front. It was a bit quirky, a little bit quirky.
Yowza Bowser.
Yeah.
Could have taken off.
Yeah, it could have, yeah.
Only in WA though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually flying there to WA tonight, so
yeah.
Go visit the Yowza Bowser.
That's right. I don't think we're not there anymore, but
no.
So from there, I want to know, because my mother and dad are both entrepreneurs.
Yes.
But I probably just didn't have the courage to get into entrepreneurship until just recently.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to ask you about. I heard you say like a business coach at 14.
Yeah.
Started your own business at 14.
Yeah.
Did you find you had to overcome fear at that age, or were you? Who was there helping you to get into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. Look, I think it's very, very much it helps if you're surrounded by entrepreneurial people. But I think, to be self-employed now, we look at Australia. Australia was built on self-employment. SMEs make up, either SMEs or their family members make up 11 million Australians. That feeds, put the food on 11 million Australians' table every night. In small and medium business in Australia. So, and especially with this new changing of the guard with Malcolm Turnbull, he's very pro-business and pro-small business. I think you're always going to have that fear, but, I was asked for some advice on the weekend in Melbourne at the Unconvention, the Entrepreneur Convention that we had, and it was like, what's your one line that you would give people? And I said, more is lost with indecision than wrong decision. Yeah. So imagine, how old are you now?
28.
28. So imagine you decided to have the leap of faith when you're 23. You'd have another 5 years under your belt already, So, and it's like when people, I'm 29 and I meet other 35 or 40-year-olds that are still working in a corporate job, and they go to me, oh, if only look how good you've done at 29. And I go, listen, you've got to compare apples with apples. I've been around this game since I was 14, but you've made the decision now. There's no time like the present, and more is lost with indecision than wrong decisions. So have a crack.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask you, I've heard you say that a couple of times, more as loss of decision,
Yeah.
the wrong decision. I feel like often it's just people are scared about of a failure more than anything else. And people sort of blame that they don't have the money to start something. But do you still mentor people now? Do you have coachees under you that you sort of coach and mentor?
Yeah, look, I do it in a different way now. So like with our Yellow Brick Road business, we have, we have state managers. I work very closely with the state managers that interact on a daily basis with, our 261 branches that are around the country that are self-employed people. So a lot of those people were either, mortgage brokers for banks or financial planners for big financial institutes or private bankers. And it was a big leap of faith. Like some of them left $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 worth of income, PAYG income, to go and start their own business, and that's scary. And they're married, divorced, got 2 kids that they, paying child support for, gone and got a, got a new wife, new children. Like they got a lot of expenses. Yeah. So for them to leave is big, and I never take that decision lightly, and I'm always respectful of that decision. So now what I do is I feel like I add value working with people that probably deal with those people on a daily basis. But I've always got 15 minutes for someone who wants to throw an idea about them leaving the corporate world and moving into self-employment. I've got a lot of time for those people.
And I feel like it comes down to lifestyle for me, especially. That's why I wanted to start as an entrepreneur, because I just want to have fun in business. I want to wake up in the morning and be excited to jump out of bed to my life. Yes, great. Is that what your sort of drive was when you were young as well?
Well, definitely when I was young, and even now, but if probably the better question there, sorry to turn it back on you, mate, is the people that I convinced to leave corporate jobs to come into self-employment, like opening a Yellow Brick Road or through the entourage and stuff. What are their biggest motivations? And I think family would be first and foremost. Like I think there's a point where you've been working for someone else for 20 years or 10 years or 5 years, and you're just like, man, one day I'm going to have children. I want to be able to pick up my kids from school, drop them off. We live in the greatest country in the world, which is Australia, but our quality of life is terrible. So like it's ironic that money generally is about third or fourth usually, which is good to see. So family is probably number 1. Number 2 is your quality of life and your lifestyle. Number 3 is job satisfaction. Even if you don't make heaps of money, but you own the business, you just feel good. Yeah. If you're not making lots of money and you're working for someone else, you lose that zest. And then your top percentile, so your 1%ers. They have a lot of purpose. Yeah. So like for them, it's their why you. I think you've heard me talk about the 30-second answer at 3 a.m. concept, that if someone put a gun to your head and said why you, like that you'd have something that comes from deep inside your soul, and that purpose that drives you when your alarm goes off at 4 a.m. every day to go catch another plane to somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's something as well. So I asked before about how many flights you've taken a year. I think 153 was...
Last year, 153. 19 countries last year, 7 this year.
Yeah.
Off to Thailand and Malaysia next month. Then the month after, I'm off to Malaysia for business, and then I'm going to Cambodia to go work in orphanages with Geraldine Cox. We've started a program called #Project Gen Z. If anyone wants to check it out, I think you can go online and type in Project Gen Z, and if you Google that, it should come up. And raising money for orphanages, but not a handout, but rather a hand up. So what we're actually looking at doing is running entrepreneurial programs. The orphanages have been going for 20, 25 years now, so we're going to run entrepreneurial programs for the 15 to 25-year-olds that have grown up in the orphanage, so then they can go back and teach the other ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so teach them to be entrepreneurs, yeah.
Cool, and I see you do a lot of charity as well, doing auctioneering and things for charity events.
Yep.
It seems like there's not a night that you have free, is that...
Not much, man, not much, but look, I enjoy it, as I said, and whether it's God or fate or whatever it is that you follow, it's... I think that's my contribution. I went to a very AFL orientated school, and I realised at a very young age I wasn't going to be a footballer. I realised I wasn't going to be an academic, so my thing was business, and if I can use that for good and I can use that to help the world, then that adds to my purpose. That gets me up when my alarm goes off after I've gotten back from a charity event at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then have to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock and go catch a plane.
Perfect. So that's where I want to sort of direct this now, is to people that are, I guess, entrepreneurs already or just starting out. I think motivation is probably one of the biggest issues that people have is how to get motivated when you are waking up in the morning and still not making any money.
Yeah.
And I guess for you, if you're taking all these flights and keeping so busy,
Yeah.
there's a reason you obviously have a lot of fun, or you see that there's a lot of fun in your job.
Yes.
So for you, when you're starting out, did you have a vision? Is that what inspires you? Did you have a vision to become a millionaire, or just?
So, you know, mine sounds a bit corny and romantic, but so my 30-second answer at 3 AM is that I've always wanted to make lots and lots of money, to pay other people really, really well, to do the things I didn't want to do, so I could do more things I love doing with the people that I loved. So we grew up in the service station game. The service stations are open 6 to 7 days a week. My father was 7 days for 27 years, and he's been 6 days for the last, I think, 13 or 14 years. But we grew up watching our father work 7 days a week, and we, you know, there used to be family lunch used to be at the service station on a Sunday behind the cash register, and everyone, when I tell that story, oh, it's beautiful, it's such a beautiful Italian immigrant story. But the reality is that it's you know, in this day and age, you can't do that. You can't neglect your children, you can't neglect your wife. You've got to be there. As that family bond needs to be there. Yeah. So that was a massive contributing motivator, even as a young boy, to get me to get up and do what I needed to do. But there's nothing wrong with people being motivated by money. Like, you know, I think when I won The Apprentice, I probably, and I moved to Sydney, and, you know, Sydney's like your mistress, you know, like Melbourne's your wife, Sydney's your mistress. It's like, it's glitz, it's glam, there's beaches, you know, I live on Bondi Beach, my apartment I bought is right on the beach. So, you know, for the first, you know, 5 years ago when I won the show, like, for the first year or two, I probably did place, I probably lost a bit of my core values and started to place an emphasis on money and, you know, having a membership to this and being invited to that. And then I think as you just mature and grow, you're like, you know, that's not that important to me anymore. And one day when I get married, like my girlfriend, she crashed my car, and I was going to buy another car. Like I had a luxury vehicle, like a BMW convertible, and you know what? We don't need it. Like, do we? Like, you know, like I did 5 years ago or 3 years ago when I bought that one, right? So when the car went, I went, you know what, economically it's not a good idea. Yeah. Like the repayment that you pay on a car, or even if you buy it outright, it's a dead asset. And I was like, and I felt like maybe at 28, 29, maybe I am maturing. Like I told my dad, he thought I was sick. It's like, are you alright? Because you wasted a lot of money on cars over the years. And I'm like, I know. I said, yeah, but I'm not going to buy a car. I got a Go-Get membership. Do you know about this Go-Get? Check out this Go-Get stuff.
These are the cars you drive around.
They're all over the world, right? They're all over Australia. So I've got a card in my wallet, and because I travel all the time anyway, I'm just like, I need a car. You go on the app and click, and it just says, yeah, the card's around the corner. You go around there, you put your card on it, and drive the car. It's amazing when you start to place more of an emphasis on different things, you know, like I think now I'm placing more of an emphasis on, you know, I'm not married, no kids yet, but one day I'll be married with kids, and that's the most important thing now, that I have that flexibility and freedom to spend the time with the people I love.
Cool.